Alrighty,
Hello.
then here we are.
How's it going, everybody?
Welcome to another episode of the Jacob Michael Show.
Just letting you know it's late at night.
This is late. It's It's later than we usually record.
But it needs to be done.
It needs to be done. Well, what is it? Labor Day? Is today Labor Day?
It is Monday, right?
It's Monday. It's
Yeah.
Monday. Happy Labor Day, everyone.
I keep forgetting like what day it is.
Well,
I don't even go by days anymore.
Yeah,
I just
I
go
mean-
by my work schedule.
Yeah, well, a lot of people have this weekend off, and I
Yeah.
worked this whole weekend, so it didn't even
Yeah.
faze me that we had Memorial Day off. How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun?
No.
No.
Yeah, no. But I you know, I had a few auditions come in.
Okay.
Finally.
Yes.
I mean, you know, like last time or a couple times ago, I was telling you about having 0 auditions.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 come in since the last time, because last time I talked to you about. Thank you.
Congratulations,
Yeah. Yeah, 2 more came in from the last time, because I had 1 come in before, but
Bigger ones.
Yeah, bigger ones.
Bigger auditions.
I
which
can't
is-
really disclose what network
No.
they're for, because they didn't even let me disclose, or they couldn't even disclose them themselves, the
No.
casting office. So I don't even know,
Mm-hmm.
but I do know at the same time.
Well,
Um,
and I think it's a really good role for you.
It's it'd be really good. It'd be really good for me.
Yeah. It just sucks because when you're auditioning for these series regular roles with not having a lot of credits is tough, but it's not
Yeah.
impossible because there's so much going on in the world of streaming and the world of new media content that it is possible.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, even when you have people who, I mean, it's just like every typical audition that you go to, like, you know, even if it's a self-tape, you know that there's other people who look just like you who are ready for the role,
Yeah.
and they have more credits than you. You just gotta wow them, you know. with
Yeah,
your-
yeah, and that's the bitch of it. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to there is politics, but I think it's what you bring to the room
yeah,
that really, and you might not get cast in that project, but I always go into an audition going, I'm auditioning for the next 3 projects or the next 5 projects, or I'm not auditioning for this project. I'm auditioning who I am, showcasing who I am to let the casting director know that this is who I am and they can call me in
yeah.
the future. And
Yeah,
I think
it's true.
that's
It's very true.
that's a big part of the first 5 years of your acting career is just getting in front of casting directors and
Yeah,
getting into the log of their brain.
That's what I was told, was like the first year that you're out here is meet and greet.
Shit,
You know,
the first year is
yeah.
just figuring out LA.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, Jesus, figuring out the friggin' like where do you live, Jesus. But
Yeah.
like as far as like casting director go, like if you come out here and you kind of land on your feet and you kind of hit the ground running, you're gonna be meeting casting directors, you're gonna be meeting directors, and it's a meet and greet. That's what I was told, at least, is that you're gonna meet all these people and you're just gonna make a first impression on a lot of them.
Yep, which is great. How's work going?
It works normal.
Yeah,
The same thing.
Still selling shoes.
I sold $1,200 worth of shoes the other day.
There we go.
I was like a freak
Yes.
in that store.
People will not walk outside barefoot
No.
in Southern California.
No, absolutely not. I was selling them shoes left and right.
Very nice.
Um,
Very nice.
But for the auditions, I want to tell you a little story.
Okay.
So,
okay.
for the first audition, let me tell you how much I hate last-minute auditions.
You hate them a lot.
I freaking hate them. So, I was on a run because, like I said, it's been 3 months since I really even heard from my agents.
Yep.
So,
And you're trying to get in shape. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just, no.
3 months of letting myself go.
Yeah.
So I was on a run. I was probably a mile and a half away from my apartment, and all of a sudden I hear my music lower and I hear my email notification go off. And I look at my email, and my mom texts me too, because my mom's connected to my email. So
That's the best. Like, Matt, did you check your email? It's like, Mom, I'm on the run. No, Matt, you need to check your email now.
check your email now. But I checked my email, and I stopped myself for a minute, and I was like, oh no. I had an audition that was due that day. It said 8:00 p.m., but I had to be at work at 5.
Yeah.
It was 4.
It was a self-tape?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a self-tape
self-tape,
audition. So
okay.
it was like around 3:50-ish, 4-ish. So I sprinted back to my apartment. I was running as fast as I possibly can back to my apartment, run up the steps, unlocked my door. I went into my room. I got a shower. I shaved myself. I was bleeding. I shaved myself so fast.
He was bleeding for the art.
And then I finally set my camera up. I set everything up. I filmed myself. Now, when I looked at the email finally for the audition sides and everything like that, they were really unclear. Like, it made no sense. Like, William is standing next to his friends, and all of a sudden he can't control his actions anymore. It's one of those PSA videos for non-smoking.
Oh, yikes.
Jeebus. So, so it said, like, like, he can't control his actions. He can't, like, all of a sudden he's doing weird things to his friends. His friends are getting annoyed, and then all of a sudden, finally, it clears out, and he can control his actions. And again, he celebrates with his friends that he can control his actions again. So, to me, that means that he was doing, to me, I was like, so, like, I slapped myself in the face, and then all I can think is, like, I started doing a bunch of karate moves.
Okay.
Because that's all I can think of doing. That, like, I was like, guys, I have no idea what's going on. Like, this is not me.
Yeah.
So that's all I can think to do. And then I emailed my agent back saying, like, hey, like, is this little description that you gave me the sides, or are there sides to this? Because, like, there is no attachment. About, like, a half hour, and, like, I already did the video. I already sent in the video. And about a half hour after I sent in the video, and I was already, like, ready to go to work, they sent, sorry, I didn't mean this. I forgot to send you the sides the first time.
Wow.
So I looked at the sides. The sides were even more confusing than the description they gave me.
Wow.
For the role.
For those of you who don't know, sides are like part of the script that an actor gets that they read for the audition.
Yeah, it's like a little bit like a snippet of the script.
And for bigger feature film projects, they'll give you the whole script to read with the sides included. But when you get these smaller projects, they just give you like one page, whatever you're reading. And
yeah.
Wow, but that's it right there. That is the quintessential Hollywood audition story.
I mean, especially commercial auditions. Auditions you got to expect same day. I mean, it's ridiculous because they ask for these last minute auditions.
It's such a quick turnaround.
I mean, like, you've gotten last minute auditions, right?
Oh yeah.
What do they expect you to do?
I've been at work before. I've been at work, and and my manager will be like, "Hey, last minute, commercial audition. Can you send it to me in the next 30 minutes?" And I literally had my coworkers filming me doing the self tape
in the hallway
to the restroom
next to their like. What is it, the health inspector certifications?
Yeah, so, I mean, that was desperate times for desperate measures, but no, man. I mean, I'm excited, not for the PSA, but for this other audition that you're doing. That's also a self tape that you taped for, and
I taped today for it.
Yeah, I'm really fingers crossed for Matt.
It would be so good for me.
Do you know where it's filming?
New York.
New
that's
York,
that's
yes.
another reason why it'd be so good for me. I could take a train ride every day, and I'd be close to home for Christmas. I could quit my job. That would be the best. But yeah, it would be a really good role for me. I mean, like I said, I can say that right now, but at the same time, there's tons of people out there.
Did you edit it already?
I mean, I did it on my phone with John Homa, our acting coach.
Perfect.
I did it on my phone, and all I had to do was edit the clips. I'm gonna send it in as soon as we're done here.
Did you slate?
I did. Yeah, it was a full body slate.
Hot damn.
It was actually an easy slate. Usually they ask you to do everything but bend over and cough.
True.
So, it was. I'd been preparing for the past maybe 4 days for this. I've been just going, not even memorizing the lines, but just knowing what I have to do in each of the scenes.
Absolutely.
Like, what is it that I need to accomplish?
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing. So, fingers crossed for this audition. Thank you for your good luck.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what is it that you've been up to?
Oh man, where do we begin? First thing, let me think. Okay. So in terms of my acting career, I guess my agent, who I'm with, is leaving the agency.
For the second time.
For the second time. This is my second agent now that is deciding to part ways with the agency that I'm with. So that's fun. Then that's exciting. It's happened before, and it's been a whole big thing. So and I guess I talked to my manager, and I guess it happens more regularly than not, where an agent will either move up the ranks, like move to a higher agency, or move over.
Quit altogether, or just move over.
Just move. Like a lot of it is like agent displacement, I guess, or enhancement, where like an agent, like so from what it was explained to me, similar to actors, agents want to get to the big agencies too, of course, because bigger projects.
Yeah.
So they're doing moves as well to try to get their way up there, whether it's an agency with more opportunities or an agency with better clients and better connections.
Yeah.
Which I understand. That was not the case for my agent. But needless to say, these things happen, and I still have a incredible manager who manages me, and everything is all good. So.
That's all you really, and that's not all you really need. But
but at the end of the day,
that's a good thing to have a good manager.
I mean, at the end of the day, this industry is so crazy that it takes a lot to surprise me. So when I got the news, I was because we. Matt and I were watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again, and I kind of knew about it beforehand, but I got like the official phone call, of course, during the beginning of the third act, the best part of that film. Mm-hmm. So I missed a lot of the I missed the best part. There's a fight sequence between Brad Pitt and
a whole bunch of hippies.
And a whole bunch of hippies, which I think is the best. But
let me give you a play-by-play what Jacob said to me before the movie started. I'm going to get a call in the middle of this movie. I said, why? He said, my agent is dropping. My agent is going to be leaving the agency, so I'm going to have to leave. And and it ended up being in the best freaking scene.
Of course, it was a really tough phone call.
I watched the scene alone, Jacob.
I'm sorry. That was not my intention, but unfortunately things happened, because not only did I have to talk to my agent, but I had to call my manager, then I called my agent back, and then it was a whole big, yeah, it ended up, I was gone for like 20-30 minutes. I mean, it was.
I thought you were on the phone with your agent the entire time.
No, I was on the phone with my agent for a good while, and then I was on the phone with my manager because I had to keep her updated, and then she had follow-up questions that I had to report back to. So it was kind of a big back and forth on it. But needless to say, it's not the end of the world. I'm still with the agency that I'm with. I guess I'm kind of waiting for things to settle a little bit before I do a meet and greet with this new agent. But all in all, everything seems to be ship shape. I mean, it is what it is. So I'm not too concerned. Other than that, I've been working a lot.
Yeah.
Serving them pancakes, serving them pancakes. So it's
The brunch.
yeah. I mean, it's tough because you come out, or at least in my case, I came out to California wanting to be an actor and wanting to be in film and TV, but it takes a long time, and you have to do a lot of the not and I don't want to call them bullshit jobs, but you have to do a lot of the jobs that you don't want to do, i.e. serving, i.e. selling shoes, i.e. Whatever, an assistant for an executive, whatever that is. That's a big part of the actor's job, and I work with a lot of people in my restaurant who not only are actors, but I have a couple musicians, a couple writers. I have someone who does music producing. I have that's just part of it. So even though I gripe and moan
part of the journey
about it, it's part of it. So, but that's fun and that's all dandy.
Even though it's part of it, doesn't mean it doesn't suck.
No, it definitely sucks. No, it definitely sucks.
Yeah.
But I bought tickets for Aerosmith yesterday, so I'm gonna go to Vegas and
Really?
see Aerosmith. Super excited.
Rolling Stones to Aerosmith. Huh?
Rolling Stones to Aerosmith. A lot of these guys are getting old. And they did a lot of drugs in the 70s and 80s. So you never know when their time to let go is coming. So I want to make sure to hit a lot of the bands, the Rolling Stones being one of them. Yeah. Next is Aerosmith. So I'm really pumped about that.
Steven Tyler
still kicking it. Still doing it. So that's how you know you love what you do, when you're getting to that age and you're still rocking out.
Yeah,
so
right.
I have nothing but the utmost respect. The biggest thing for me is I've been trying to get ready for this frickin' It Chapter 2 movie that we're going to be seeing this week. I am so scared shitless for that. Like, dude, you how, like, I am freaking out because and I'm not going to get into it, but we saw a movie and they had like a little teaser where Jessica Chastain and all them were like, here's an exclusive sneak peek of It Chapter 2.
Well, it was a Nuvie thing.
It was a Nuvie,
It was like one of those like arcade games where like if you set up like the app on your phone, you can point it towards the screen and you can play the game. We didn't get to play the game, but like there was like this little flea that was like buzzing through the bottom of bleachers.
Yeah.
And it took a corner. And all of a sudden,
boom! And then Pennywise jumps out.
There was two hands like gloved together that clapped out of the darkness.
And that got me the first. But there was also another thing. So that was the first thing that got me. Then
I saw Jacob hit the roof.
Yeah, I freaked out. But then Pennywise kind of does. But then these teeth come out. Kind of like a last minute jump. And dude, I don't know. I mean, and I'm gonna go. We're gonna go see it Thursday night. But it's 2 hours and 48 minutes of just ridiculous.
Of Jacob freaking out.
I know, and we need to see it Chapter 1, 2. I've seen it before, but I want to see it again with you. So we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be doing that this week.
So quick question. This is going back. I don't mean to go back, but more about acting. And what you were talking about with your agent. So, just for people, I guess, at home, but what were some of the questions that were asked, and what were some of the things that you needed to talk about with your agent and manager before leaving your agent and when deciding, I guess, finding a new one?
You mean when my agent left?
Well, yeah, like when you called your agent, what was the conversation mostly about?
Well, first the question was what happened, which I'm trying to be careful because
obviously, yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of talk about a lot of things, but basically at the end of the day, I think you have to decide what is best for your career, and I'm a big fan of loyalty. So the first time it happened, I had an agent who I went with, and then when she left, I went with her to go to a new agency that she was starting up, and because I was loyal, because I was like, look, this was the agent that found me, but unfortunately, that agency never, things happened, and I ended up going back to the old agency that I originally started with, but it it was more just about trying to, I guess, getting all the information
As
and
to why.
as to where she was going, where what her game plan was. I mean, I didn't know, at before the phone call, I didn't know if she was retiring, if if there was an emergency. I didn't know if so. I guess, or A, getting all the information, and then B, talking to and that's why I think it's so important to have a manager before an agent, because a manager is someone you can kind of call and discuss these things, where agents are more strictly business.
Yeah.
So really the call to the agent was, I want to say, more of a courtesy call. It was really gathering the information and then talking to my manager and seeing what is the best option moving forward for my career, and do I stay or do I go, or why, and kind of what are the trends in the industry, and why would this
Yeah.
happen. So all in all, I guess it's more of a case by case basis, but I think having someone to talk to in the industry that knows you, i.e. my manager, I think is really important. But unfortunately, this happens more times than not, and I don't think that you have to be surprised by it, because at the end of the day, you can always go to another agency. I mean, you can always find another agent, and you can always get new headshots and reinvent yourself or rebrand yourself. So I always try to look at the glass half full, and I always try to say, yeah, that sucked. But at the end of the day, maybe I did need to change. Maybe I wasn't going out enough. Maybe, she wasn't pitching me the way that was the best for me and for, my brand. So,
Well, I mean, to me, that says when she's leaving, that means that she had other things on her mind. When she has other things on her mind, that doesn't mean that she's pitching you. She's trying to figure out the best situation. For
yeah,
herself.
I mean, there were things that happened that I don't want to talk about in air, but it definitely makes sense why I wasn't going out these past couple months after that phone
Yeah,
call. So,
yeah.
at the end of the day, shit happens, and I'm not angry at anyone. I just move forward, and and I think I actually had lunch a couple weeks ago with an actor, a buddy of mine. His name's Josh. We did a web series together called Troubled Youth from Crypt TV, and we stayed friends, and we were connected, and he just booked a guest star role on Modern Family.
Yeah, you were telling me this.
And the funny thing is, he has no representation. And
Sticking it to the.
he has no
yeah.
agent, no manager, I had lunch to meet up with him and see him and see what he was doing, but I wanted to ask, how the hell did you do it?
What did you do?
He said that he used to have representation, an agent, and he went in for Modern Family before
But how did you get the audition?
through his agent.
But you.
Well, the first time when he was with his agent, he got an audition for Modern Family 8 months prior.
Oh, okay. And
Before.
then,
So
and then- so I'm assuming the casting director then reached out to him months later.
Yep. So what happened was, he had the agent. The agent got him for the Modern Family audition. He dropped his agent, and then once this role came up, the casting director personally called him and said, "Hey, can you come in and read for this role?"
Yeah.
And that's how that. Now, the role was super specific to him,
Yeah.
which helped. It wasn't a bland. It was very, very hyper specific that he fit very well for.
When he read, they probably there's a casting director by the name of Mark Teschner.
Oh yeah.
Who does that? I took a class with him. It was a workshop. It was almost pointless because taking our class it was the same thing.
Well, he does daytime television, right? He casts for
General Hospital.
Yeah.
But getting to know him and how he works, and John was telling me too at the same time, our coach, the way that and this can go for a lot of casting directors. You can go in for a role, read for the role, and they say this part's not for you, but there's something down the line. So they have you in mind. Now I have no idea. Sometimes that might be, just a casting director saying like no.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes the casting director is saying, I'm keeping you in my book of actors to call.
Yeah.
And what Mark Teschner would do is let's say 6 months down the line, there's a new character that comes into General Hospital is what he casts. Let's say a new character comes into General Hospital. He'll be like, I know the perfect person. Now he goes into his book of people, say, I need you to come in this day and this time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're booked.
Yeah.
So a lot of casting directors work like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, I think that was,
It was the case for your...
Yeah, and I think that was the case for him, at least for Josh. So it was really exciting. When I saw the news, I was really good for him.
Yeah,
and that's how a lot of casting directors work in this town. So,
Yeah.
but we got to see an incredible movie that
This week,
because it was kind of slow this week. There wasn't really a big
blockbuster box office huge $1 billion movie coming out.
The industry is kind of waiting for It Chapter 2 because once that comes out, it's gonna take all the money. So I know.
Well, I would say a lot of them are waiting for Halloween season, and then the next season after that is Christmas time.
Believe it or not, we have some pretty big juggernauts coming in the next couple months with Rambo to the Joker to Star Wars. So even though the summer movie season is coming to an end, we're still gonna get some really good films, and also we're gonna start getting into the Oscar films. Some of the smaller stuff that you might have missed that that you'll be able to see in theater. However, did you see that the Venice Film Festival is going on right now, and they showed the Joker film.
Oh, they did,
and they're saying that Joaquin might get an Oscar nom.
Wow, for it. Really?
So I'm very curious to see because I know that they've been saying a lot about the script and how it's divisive and how it's going to tear fans apart. But I'm really excited to see Joaquin's performance.
Yeah, I saw a tweet the other day. It was about the Joker in general, not just about Joaquin's
just
Joker,
a character.
It was just a character, and it was like, I guess it has something to do with Joaquin a little bit, but it has to deal with the character in general was thrown into poisonous gas and like the laughing.
It was it was poisonous chemical. It was Ace Chemicals,
which made him what he was. But the way that is it Nolan?
Christopher Nolan,
who's directing it?
No, this one is Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips. Okay, yeah. So and then with the one that's Joaquin and Todd Phillips, all you got to do is throw him in society.
Yeah,
society is what's making him.
Yeah, when a couple months ago, Todd Phillips said that this isn't going to be like the comic book origin because the comic book origin is kind of more campy, I guess, where like he joins this gang called the Red Hoods and he wears this dome on his head and then he falls in the Ace Chemicals building and he turns white.
Yeah,
that's not going to be the case here. Similar to Nolan's. Or Heath Ledger's Joker, where that wasn't the case. You could tell like it was just some psychopath. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see it. It's one of those movies that I'm going. it's going to be an interesting experience.
Yeah.
I don't think Joaquin Phoenix disappoints, and I don't think Joaquin Phoenix would have taken the role had it been an interesting film.
Yeah.
So, I've been seeing a lot of posters for Ad Astra with Brad Pitt
Yeah.
that I'm really excited for.
I'm excited to see those too.
Because
this looks really good.
because
I mean, just coming off of
Once Upon a Time,
Once Upon a Time.
and I mean just the spectacle of it. I mean, what was it? Interstellar.
yeah, it's reminding me a lot of Interstellar.
Yeah, so that definitely has a
With Matthew McConaughey.
yeah. So Interstellar was Matthew McConaughey, and then Gravity was George Clooney.
George Clooney and Sandra Bullock.
And Sandra Bullock, and then Anne Hathaway was Interstellar, right?
No, Interstellar was with Matthew McConaughey, obviously, and had
I'm forgetting her name. She was.
I know it had now I'm forgetting his name. Timothy Chalamet.
Interstellar had Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah, he played his kid.
What?
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway was in it.
Oh, she was
with Jessica Chastain.
okay. Really?
Are you sure, Timothy? You are right.
Timothy Chalamet.
You are
Timothy
right.
Chalamet played his
You are right.
son.
Hot damn, you're right.
Yeah.
And then there was The Martian with Matt Damon,
God.
which is my favorite, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. I just love Ridley Scott in it. But anyway, we digress. So let's talk about this movie, man. Let's talk about.
All the trailers we saw about that leading into the movie.
Okay, so I didn't know much about this film because A, they didn't market it at all,
Really?
and B, it wasn't something that.
Wasn't Blockbuster.
Yeah, it wasn't Blockbuster, but it wasn't something that I kind of like was.
You didn't really think about it.
But I watched Collider, and they interviewed the two directors.
Really?
So that's kind of how I got first introduced to it, because they were like, yeah, this movie's great and awesome, and I was like, I don't know, Peanut Butter Falcon doesn't sound cool, but we were last week, there wasn't really a movie, and Matt and I wanted to see one, and we were kind of going back and forth. I was like, well, hey, why don't we see Ready or Not, because it's kind of like a dark comedy, and I'm trying to get into horror, so for Chapter 2, and he's like, no, man, you're ready for it, and I'm like, no, why don't we ease into it? He's like, no, you're fine. So then we kind of went back and forth. We're like, well, what's out? I don't even know what's playing. Matrix, I think, what was it, the 20th anniversary
Something like that.
was playing, but then Matt was like, well, why don't we see the Peanut Butter Falcon? And I was like, I don't even know what that is. So I
Yeah.
saw the trailer, and I was like, oh, Shia LaBeouf and Dakota Johnson. And
Yeah, I saw a few trailers for it, but I heard someone saying, like, I really want to see it. And I was like, what is Peanut Butter Falcon? And they're like, well, I don't really know what it's about. So I looked up a trailer, and I was like, I still have no idea what because like you just said, the marketing was not very good for it. I'm not sure if that was a money thing.
it was definitely a money thing. They definitely didn't have enough money. I mean,
but I definitely wanted to, like, you know what? Let's see it. So
yeah, we went, we saw it. It's about an hour and a half, and I loved it.
and it was unexpectedly amazing movie.
Unexpectedly amazing. I think the best thing about this film is going in knowing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you can go in knowing nothing, you're going to be in good shape,
And I
and you're going to
think-
be pleasantly
yeah.
surprised.
And I think that's what made it so good for us.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. So for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to give you the kind of the general basic storyline. It's about this kid named Zach who has Down syndrome, and he wants to be a professional wrestler. Mm-hmm. Just that tagline alone, I'm in. But I didn't know that. That wasn't, I had no idea. So the story is he meets with Shia LaBeouf's character, and Dakota Johnson is taking care of Zach, and they go on this big adventure. And the film for me, the kind of like the structural support of the film is Zach, and I think that he's kind of the character that holds the whole movie together, and I think that alone for me just makes the movie enough to go good, perfect. You had some
I had some issues.
you
with
had some
it.
issues.
Even though I thought it was a great movie, I still had some issues.
Yes, talk to me.
So, now, the only reason why I had a lot of the issues that I did have is because I saw what came up with. I mean, they had a mice and men story on their hands. They had, I mean, like I said, I'm no professional in this. I'm no, like, amazing writer. I have no idea, but I know. We all know relationships, and we know how they build. So the relationships didn't really build to a point where I could really see the connection between the characters, and there was the moments that I felt were missed. The moments that they had in the movie were amazing, but I wanted more. I wanted to see the building of their relationship, and I felt like it went from this to this real quick. So an example, I guess, of that is, so one of the first examples I can come up with is when Shia LaBeouf's character and Zach's character. So Zach finds so Shia LaBeouf finds Zach. Zach he takes him to a certain point and says, "Sayonara, I don't care about you at all."
Yeah.
And then tries to hitchhike. So he hitchhikes to a certain point, and then Shia LaBeouf is talking to this guy in this truck that he's hitchhiking with, and then finds out that there's a roadblock. Shia LaBeouf is hiding from a bunch of characters, so he can't go through the roadblock or he'll get caught. So he gets out of the truck and says, "Oh, I forgot something back there," like, "Oh, thank you very much for the ride, but I gotta go back." And then so when he gets back, he sees Zach's character, which he didn't care about at first, about to jump off of a diving board into a lake in, I'm assuming, like Carolinas or Georgia or something. It was very country. And all of a sudden he goes, he can't swim, like,
Yeah.
and he starts to care for this character, like, and then the kid pushes Zach's character into the water, and then he's almost drowning, I guess. And Shia LaBeouf's character dives into the water and goes to rescue him. To me, that was an issue, because their journey to that point, Shia LaBeouf made it very clear that he didn't care about him. He made it very clear that he didn't care about him. And then when he got into the truck, he still didn't care about him. All of a sudden, when he comes back, he knows everything about him. Not everything, but he knows he can't swim. He cares about him. He doesn't want him to drown. And he dives in the water for him and pulls him back up to save him.
Yeah.
And he's willing to punch a kid in the face. So to me, that was an issue, because there was no development. There was no, like, but between the two characters, there was no, like, connection. And all of a sudden, there was.
Yeah, you felt like they went from point A to point C and missed point B.
Point B, yeah. And we were talking about this in the car on the ride home. Like, if he just kind of hopped out of that car that he was riding in and got back to the place, well, why would he even go back there if he really wanted even to be with him? Why would he even go back there if he didn't need him? So I felt it would have been a better choice if he needed him instead of wanting to go back to him. You know what I mean? And that's something that you pointed out too. So that was an issue. To not go, I guess, too completely far into it, another issue I had was the girl finding them. So there was the girl, Dakota Johnson's character, she was taking care of Zach at the beginning of the movie. She was her caretaker. She she loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he went missing from the home that he was at, she said she went to the guy with, I guess that was another. He was too much of an asshole. The owner of the what's it called, the home.
Yeah.
The home that he was too much of an asshole. I felt like if he was a little bit of a better guy,
Mm-hmm.
it would have made a more interesting choice. But he was just, it was cliche. It was too much of an asshole.
Yeah.
But she went looking for him. So half of the movie was spent her looking for Zach, and like, you know, and then the second, you know, the counter story was Shia LaBeouf's and Zach's journey. So it was Dakota Johnson looking for Zach, and Zach and Shia LaBeouf's character having their little journey together.
Mm-hmm.
And then so halfway through the movie, she's just driving some bus and goes, "Oh, there they are." What?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like to me that was like, well, that was convenient.
Yeah.
You know, like you found them real fast. Like, you know, like you went through this huge struggle and then all of a sudden you find them.
Yeah.
So to me, I guess the issue that I saw was the development. If they spent more time, because it was only like an hour and a half movie, right? If they made it like an extra half hour, or they added the extra time to develop the characters, I think they would have had an amazing movie on their hands. And so I guess that's my thoughts.
Yes. Wow. Oh boy. Yeah. I think that there's there was some writing issues with it.
Yeah, not to.
And I agree with every point you made,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't. And that's no excuse for a feature film, but I think that the performances were so good that they outweighed the struggles of the script. And I'm not saying that there weren't issues, and I'm not saying that isn't a problem and that's not an excuse, but I think going into a film like this, I think you're going in to see Zach, and I think you're going in to see the relationship between him and Shia LaBeouf's character.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the driving force of the film, and I think that they nailed that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why people are going to go and see it, is because of that. Now,
they need to market that then.
yeah, they do need to market that, and they need to market that chemistry, because the chemistry between Dakota Johnson, Shia LaBeouf, and Zach is incredible.
Yeah.
And I bought that, and I bought every second of it. Was the story a little whimsy? Yeah. Were things a little coincidental? Yeah. But they obviously knew where they wanted to go with it.
Yeah.
And they got there very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly, but they obviously had only so much time to tell a story, and this is probably, and I probably sound like a broken record, but as a whole, the movie is not 100%, but there are aspects, but there are 100% moments in there. You know what I'm saying? So even though the whole movie may not run at 100%, the chemistry is 100%.
Yeah.
The acting is 100%. The cinematography is 100%.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The same thing I said. I said there are great individual things, but I think as a whole, with the unfortunate plot holes, it doesn't make it 100%. But I don't think that you should go into the film expecting, or especially for first-time directors, I don't think you should go in expecting that caliber of storytelling right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Like I said, like the moments that I did see were freaking were outstanding.
Yeah.
But I just felt like there were moments that were missing.
Yeah.
And they may have thought about them, but I wanted to see the moments that built more of their character.
Absolutely. But all in all, please go and see this film. Go and support this film. the fact that they have a person with Down syndrome leading this movie is incredible.
Can we talk about that for a second too?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Wow was an understatement.
That was amazing.
It's hard enough shooting a film with someone who's cognizant. Having someone with Down syndrome, and I don't know what the shooting experience was like, but did they pull it off?
I have no idea where they found him.
Well, I guess the two directors were running a camp. And I guess they were doing a camp and they were doing short films with kids with disabilities.
Wow.
And Zach was just someone that stood out. And Zach wanted to make this film. So it was kind of like, it started off as kind of like a pet project that grew into this big project. So
Yeah.
so good for them, I mean, and it worked.
He killed it.
He killed it, yeah. And you could tell he was just being like, there was, and it's funny because as an actor, you're like, yo, I need to act. There was no acting.
No.
There was no acting. There was just
Pure.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was so pure of heart, and there was no
That's kind of like I'm assuming what they kind of wanted to share was like that pureness. I mean, like he was so genuine. I mean,
yeah. There was not a moment that I did not believe Zach, and
Yeah.
I did not believe in intention, and that kind of gave me a reality check. Like that's just what acting is about, is just being there and just being present.
yeah. I mean, watching him be in this, I mean, yeah. I mean, as far as acting goes, like wow, like because he's just being there. He's just playing along, and that's just what you need to do.
Yeah, and
Is be present in every single moment.
exactly. So if you get a chance, please go to your local theater and see The Peanut Butter Falcon. I highly recommend it.
It was amazing.
Yes. So I have a couple big announcements
As far as
what we're going to be doing with the show.
Okay.
So here's what I'm thinking, and I do want to get your feedback. Me and Matt have been talking a lot about what we want to do and what we want to accomplish on this show, and as guys who are just starting off, it's very tough to find your audience, and I think that's a big thing with podcasters is finding your audience and figuring out what you want to talk about and what people want to listen to, because that's essentially what podcasting is
Yeah.
being able to give you a product to listen to. And we've been thinking a lot about what we want to do and different ways of being able to bring the best content to you. So here is something that we have talked a lot about and what we have decided. We are going to be the Jacob Michael Show has been something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. And the Jacob Michael Show is something that's near and dear to my heart. But when I met Matt, we decided to go more niche. Is it niche? Niche. We decided to go for a different audience. So starting in the next couple weeks, I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after, we are going to officially change our podcast name to The Struggle Bus.
The Struggle Bus.
We feel that it is fitting not only to the situation that we're in, but also it is going to be leaning towards actors or people in the industry who want to learn about the industry, and we're going to be doing kind of more, talking more industry and less nonsense, if that makes sense. So,
well, we're gonna be talking about our experiences, and then as soon as we get guests in here, we're gonna be talking about their experiences.
yeah, so we're going to have a lot of guests. We're going to have a lot of people from acting class, acting coaches, casting directors. So the Struggle Bus is going to be your hub for the entertainment and the actor's way. Now,
You're struggling headquarters.
you're struggling headquarters. Now, we are still going to be doing the Jacob Michael Show. what I'm thinking on my end is that the struggle bus is going to be talking about our experiences and talking about our auditions and talking about this and that. The Jacob Michael show is going to be a show where where it's going to be more entertainment news based,
Yes.
where it's more opinionated, where it's not as factual. It's kind of more us joking around. You're going to get our thoughts on a lot of news stories that break and a lot of different things. We're still deciding where we're going to put the movie review, if it's going to go on the Struggle Bus or on the Jacob Michael show. But just know that, we don't want to confuse you, but we just want to make sure that we're very clear on what our goals are, because we don't want to just spew all this at you and then you go, well, that was kind of a lot of useless information, or it was sporadic all over the place. So we're really getting down to the nitty gritty of who our target audience is and what we want to talk about in those podcasts. So, but we, and I want to thank everyone who's been listening as we figure all this out, because it is a growing process. It is a learning process for us, and trying to decide what we want to do. But just know that at the end of the day, we're going to be continuing to pump out content. I love doing this. I think Matt here loves doing it as well.
What else am I going to be doing other than something like this?
Exactly.
And
So,
I mean, I love talking about movies, and if I love talking about movies, why not? I've been saying this all the time. Why not broadcast it? So
exactly. So, like I said, it's not going to happen right away. In the next probably couple weeks, I just wanted to get that out there, just to kind of let you know what we're thinking, what we're doing. We're still sanding the block on what we want to do, but I think
I'm sorry to interrupt.
no worries.
Feedback at this point is the most crucial for us,
Yeah.
and we've been trying to get the most honest and feedback that we can possibly get, because we want to succeed with this.
Absolutely.
We want to do the best that we possibly can.
Absolutely.
And if you feel like I'd rather hear this on the Struggle Bus, where you can go to every single week, then that's what we'll put on there. But we still have no idea what our audience is yet, because we still don't know. We don't have the complete feedback that we need. We're chipping away at it and trying to form a perfect, I guess not perfect, but a good podcast for listeners.
Absolutely. So we're figuring it out, and like I said, we want to thank you for your patience. We want to thank you for tuning in. Matt, as always, you're a hell of a co-host, and I want to thank you.
Bro.
And I don't know if I'm going to make it through the screening of it, Chapter 2, but please keep me in your thoughts and prayers, and have a great...
We'll let you know how it goes.
Yes. Have a great rest of your day, or night, or evening, or lunch, or brunch, or dinner. We'll see you.